people. Uh, Great to see you come back. Always a pleasure to have you. So we're going to build on last night's conversation, the topic of discussion, which is this Libra eclipse. And boy, has it been telling on shit. You know what I'm saying? Because we're talking about relationships. We're talking about our relationship to everything around us at this time. Our relationship with our divine, our family, our friends, our relationship with ourselves, food, our addictions, our vices. I mean, everything. Your relationship with nature, the music you listen to, the food you eat, and how it's serving you. This is all what should be under the lens, you know what I mean? Because we're all getting signs of what's working and what's not, one way or the other. And I had an interesting conversation right before I came into work with someone who has that opposite sign of Aries, kind of going through it. And it was really eye-opening, you know what I'm saying? What's up? Checked already. They ain't got nothing back there. I think it's just ice. To the air. So what's going to happen now is this eclipse is going to give a lot of us a clear understanding of what direction we need to go. So it's going to be a fool's journey. That's what Aries represents, new beginnings, right? So it's like being a student again. And just to give you an update of what's going on in my area, which is really important. If you got a social network, you should have people who are in different areas so that you know what's going on, boots on the ground kind of thing. We're not depending on the TV or anything else to give us our information, right? But here in NOLA, we're having a strike on the docks, right? Let me fix my tie. That's just so uncouth. But anyway, the dock workers are going on strike, and it's been about the third day, so we are not getting a lot of the essentials here in the stores. And let me show you how this works, because we're dealing with relationships again, in Piscean era energy leaving out and Aquarian energy coming in. Codependencies to interdependency, right? NOLA is codependent on those docks to bring things in, right? And that's why they're on strike, because they deserve a lot more for working those docks. This strike happened back in '77 when I was talking to other people. But the difference between now and then is that we had more in-house things going on as far as what we produced, you know what I'm saying, here in NOLA. So we didn't have to rely on the outside world as much, but now we are totally dependent on those docks to bring things in. So everybody was scrambling for water, toilet paper, you name it, right? So that's what's going on in our area. And this is what the eclipse is bringing up, because we just had two of them, right? And it's showing that our dependency is going to eventually, one, wake people up and realize how much we need each other for this. Or two, it's going to really expose just how bad a shape we are, because we have to depend on everybody else. Now, if those dock workers don't get back to work soon, what happens is people who feel that doesn't affect them. What's going on, Ash? I'm great. How about yourself? Kind of running through this this energy we're in and the current events, you know what I mean? But I brought the cards today. I didn't bring cards yesterday. I brought the cards today if y'all had questions. But you think it doesn't impact you until it does, right? Because if the dock workers don't go back to work, the stuff that comes in doesn't get to the stores. And I was over there talking to the store manager today over the Dollar General, and he was like, yeah, it affects everybody, because now I got to lay workers off because there's no products on the shelf, there's nobody buying shit. Now I got to lay them off, you know what I'm saying?
What's your 20?
So whether we want to...
In front of G-Hall.
Whether we want to acknowledge it or not, we're all interconnected somehow, some way. So this is something that we really have to look at as our relationship with the world as it is, you know what I mean? If NOLA floods, it don't matter if you're white, black, purple, or green. We're all going to be floating in the same shit. We all breathe the same air. We all have the same food. So this is what this time era is highlighting, our relationships with everything. Are we codependent or are we independent? You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where you might see a lot of people start growing community gardens, shit like that, you know what I mean? Where people come together in certain areas and they start to learn to take care of themselves and not be so dependent on the outside world to take care of their area. And now with relationships, everybody's getting that review. Is it worth the relationship? Because we're talking about Venusian energy at the end of the day. It's in Scorpio. So this is letting us really take an intimate look at our love relationships. You know what I'm saying? Our relationship with money. You know what I mean? Our relationship with time. Yeah, port closing, people on strike. Hurricanes brewing and poor politics. This is the reset. And not only that, you see all the prominent actors passing away. This is a changing of the guard. You know what I'm saying? This is the time where people are going to be stepping out of the shadows, so to speak, and taking positions of power who should be in those positions of power. And I don't mean that by ruling over people. I mean these people are going to be accountable for organizing people to work together. You know what I mean? If not, we're really going to learn the hard way. Like you said, with the especially with the ports and everything. You know what I mean? People can't get their food. You know. Because what that leads to at the end of the day is going to be more crime. You know what I'm saying? So now we got more crime than we got martial law. So you see how one thing happens, so you think you're not a part of it, but when them police come out and them tanks come out and you can't go places you usually can go to, or you have curfews, then it starts setting in that you are part of a collective, whether you like it or not. You know what I'm saying? Aquarius energy. This is 11th house energy. So this is a time to really figure out what it is that you truly value, what is truly valuable to you right now. This is beyond friends and family, and you know, you can have $1 million in the middle of chaos and that won't do shit for you. It's kind of like Noah with the flood. Once he shut that door, you could have had it 10 G's and he wasn't opening that door. You feel what I'm saying? You're either on the boat or you're not. You know what I'm saying? So this is a time when intuition, the feeling, the new beginnings, doing something new as a collective and as individuals, because the North Node is still in the Aries energy, which is where we're all headed, you know, something new. Either we're going to get it together or we're going to sink together. You know what I mean? There may be some exceptions who, you know what I mean, off the grid kind of shit, already established, fucking underground bunkers and shit, but that's not the average person. You feel me? Bitcoin, no, absolutely not. Because when I think of crypto, I think of dead, like dead money, and that's just my own opinion on it. But even how we relate value is changing. That was the whole Uranus and Taurus transit that's lasted the last 7 years. You know what I mean? And at one point I ain't gonna lie. But that's one of those things where it was good to get it in the beginning when it was young. You know what I'm saying? But it is definitely time for something new. A new perspective, because we got to think how these ancient cultures used to just live in harmony with the natural world. They were on natural time. They weren't on artificial time or calendars or anything like that. And there was relatively a harmonious relationship. And that flourished, you know what I'm saying? They didn't have the diseases that we have because we're so caught up in doing things that are regulated by a clock or a calendar. I'm gonna do some cards if anybody wants cards tonight too, but I kind of wanted to put that out there as a follow-up to yesterday's because we had a lot of good feedback and questions come in, and I also wanted to share the news of what's going on here so that everybody's aware that it's not just where you're at. Everybody's going through it, you know what I'm saying, in some form or fashion. It's beautiful and it's scary at the same time. Because it's beautiful because we have the chance to really get it right best we can. And it's scary because it's going to be new territory. We can't do the same things and think that things are going to get better, you know? Let me see. I'm curious. I'm going to pull 3 just to get the energy. And for those of you who are not familiar with the Mayan calendar, that's one of the tools that I use. We're in the energy of the blue storm, which is about clearing energy out, sudden clearing, violent storms that clear out things, sort of like hurricanes, right? That's why they're so violent now. But we're also in ancestral energy. That means in this 8 year, what goes around comes around. And it doesn't matter if you're alive or you were alive back then and you're not anymore. All that energy is coming back around. You know, justice is being served. Lady of the Shrine is the first card out. Again, more of that ancestral energy. It's a time to go within and practice a little stillness so you can receive what it is that you need for your next chapter, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? This is like a high priestess kind of energy. Very intuitive. We got to kind of throw logic to the side for a minute and tap into something a lot bigger than just us. You know what I mean? Talking to the God inside, the goddess inside. Second card is the Death card, the transformation. This depiction is a little bit different because this is about everything coming full circle and you seeing how everything correlates to everything else. Again, the interdependency. This is like nature, how the tree feeds the animals, or the insects and the animals feed off each other, so on and so forth. How it keeps the cycle going, you know what I mean? They're not separate. So even with us as peoples of the earth, there's a common link or bond, you know, or a place or origin. We could talk about that later. That's a whole can of worms. But this is definitely a transition, a change of address, a move. It could be a physical death. We will be seeing a lot of that, you know what I mean? Especially with Pluto out there dancing around in Aquarius as well. But this is shedding the old skin of who you think you were. This is stepping into a new era of being something new right about now, becoming something totally different. And it'll surprise the hell out of you, right? And in the Mayan system, we got death again. Kimi, the white world bridger. And this is saying that this death is not a death like we've been taught traditionally. Death is actually a very beautiful thing. It's change. It comes to break up stagnancy. Because if we didn't have death, things would remain the same. It would get redundant. There'd be people hanging themselves left and right because there'd be no change. You know what I'm saying? Death represents the opportunity for change and growth. One thing dies, a relationship, maybe a job, maybe a location dies, and a new one is born. A new beginning is born. You understand? This is the transitional period we're all going through. What are we going to do next? What are we going to do next? We should be at the point where we realize we cannot carry on the way we are as a collective, right? We can agree on that, right? At least that much. Learning from the past, the mistakes of the past, whether it be just your own direct family or your lineage, your town, but even as a collective, because history repeats, we should be learning from all that, right? But then moving forward, the answers you want are going to be within. And that's really all the spill I got tonight, because it was really heavy on my heart when I was riding in on the bus, just looking around, you know what I'm saying, at everything that's going on and how much unnecessary suffering there is in the world. Let's just put it like that. And injustice, or what seems to be an imbalance of justice. You know what I'm saying? And really the only solution is we are that solution. You know what I'm saying? We are that solution. You said trans rights. I mean, everybody. You know what I mean? It should be nobody else's business what everybody else is really doing in their own private life. As long as it's not interfering with nobody else, you know what I mean? And I have no problem with anybody else as long as they're not trying to push their agenda on anybody else. Let people be who they are, you know what I'm saying? And that's another kind of thing we really need to work on as a collective. Accepting ourselves first, you know what I'm saying? Individually and as a race or culture, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So how's everybody else feeling tonight? What's going on where you're at? You know what I mean? How are you feeling about the changes that are going on? What kind of solutions are you looking for? You know what I mean? If any. Shit, you don't have to do anything.
This is actually 10-4, but I'm taking my 15.
Okay, cool. Or if you like a card for whatever, if you may have a question, I'm here for the service today. And probably will be for the next 8 days because there ain't going to be too much to do besides sit up in here and watch the walls and draw for a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And do some cards or whatever. But feel free to ask a question if you want, if you have any questions.
That's chill.
But I'd rather this be an open forum where everybody gets to exchange a little bit of who they are and where they're from and what they're seeing in the world right now. You know what I'm saying? Just another place that we could have those conversations that are needed at this time. Everybody cool? Well, I'm guided to pull one card because I have a question as far as what we could be focusing on right now that could really be beneficial. Best questions have the best answers. So let's go step by step, right? I'm using Fancy's deck. This is my own created deck right here. I got one left. They were really nice to me on Saturday. At the first annual Black Americana celebration of music. Now, the other thing about this time span is we're getting snippets of what's to come. So it's not a time for doom or gloom. It's not a time to be afraid of anything. Like I said, it's actually a very beautiful time if we're taking advantage of it. Because I'm starting to see bits and pieces of what the future can hold in my own reality and the people that I'm sharing that reality with, right? It's starting to take hold, you know what I'm saying, of what it can really be. So this is not a time to be afraid. This is the time to embrace that Aries energy, that courageous, pioneering energy, you know what I'm saying? So let me get a card because it seems like there's a bit more to be talked about tonight. Pyro cheese. I like that name. Ginger. Ginger. This is perfect for this time. And what I'm channeling is you have to realize that there are people who do not want that kind of society, that need everybody to be in that caste system, you understand, in order to survive. Some people, if you want to even call them people, are here to prey upon the collective. You feel what I'm saying? So there's always going to be that opposition. And part of their job is to lower your frequency, make you feel depressed, make you feel helpless, make you feel defenseless, make you feel unworthy. You understand what I'm saying? And feed off of that fear and that energy that we put out there. And this is where I have to remind you how powerful you are, especially if you're being targeted like that, because it says a lot about your energy. This is reminding you to continue to pour your wisdom and your love into everything you do and nourish yourself at this time. I'm talking about from what you take in on social media, to what you put in your body, to the people around you, to the way you talk to yourself, to the way you allow people to talk and interact with you. Ginger is a cleansing, fire activation kind of element. And what this is asking you to do is nourish your dreams, nourish everything you're doing. Do not let anything take away from who you are and what you're doing at this time, or make you feel like things are hopeless, or, you know what I'm saying, you'll never find love, you'll never find the right job, or blah, blah, blah. Anything in that kind of connotation. You feel what I'm saying? Because that's the only way they can win. The only way they can win now is if we self-destruct ourselves. You understand what I'm saying? There's no way. There's no other way, because we are the creators of this shit. You feel me? So with all that being said, I think that's pretty good for the message. I don't feel anything else coming out, unless anybody else got something they would like to add into the convo. Or like I said, if you want a card for your own situation, you're more than welcome to put your request in the chat right there. But if not, I'm going to get on this drawing pad and create. You know what I'm saying? And just create. But for all intents and purposes, I hope this brought you a little bit of clarity tonight. Some confirmation. We're right here in the mix of all this eclipse energy. That you're taking your time with yourself right now. That you're being forgiving and understanding of your journey and where you're at. That you're getting the jewels from the lessons that you've been going through. And you're advocating for yourself to be the best that you can possibly be. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's pretty clear right here. So that means everybody in the room is pretty clear about what needs to happen in their own lives, and that's a good thing. It doesn't feel choppy or stagnant. So this release, check in with yourself 6 months from now. That's how the eclipse seasons work. They're 6 months apart, and it's a time span. It's like a little cycle, 6 months, where the things start to change based on your intentions that you set prior or on the date of. You know what I'm saying, kind of thing. But keep a nice little journal or a log of your own development at this time. It'll do you wonders. And it'll give you something to talk about with your grandchildren and children later on down the line, if you don't have any. Because we are definitely in some interesting times. Yeah, it's nice and clear. That's what's up. So for the Who-kah lounge, since nobody else is in the room and nobody's chatting, I figure everybody's in bed chilling or whatever. This is just a little ASMR. Quite all right. I'm going to get on my snacks and get on my pictures. If you like to commission, I might as well put that out there right now too. Because I did some individuals from the event. There's some individual joints right here. You can get at me at my Gmail, which is always in the description box, and you can order yourself a custom portrait, book illustrations, character concepts, coloring books, comic books, all that. You know, I'm a strong advocate of the arts and being a geek. Where's the other one? The other one was really good too. But I'll be doing a lot more of the live drawings as well. So these are some of the ones that came out, and they turned out really good. Been running into some very interesting people lately. All right, so with all that being said, take care of yourselves, and I'll probably be on tomorrow. And I'd love to hear anything y'all got to say. You know, it's time we start having these conversations. So until then, stay safe, take care of yourselves, wholeness and love.